Greetings, what's up, and welcome. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys this morning with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring, spawning in the south, it's going to be the United States forces of Gloating Ghost, a new player to the channel, so a very warm welcome to you, Gloating Ghost. And spawning in the north, it's going to be FK9DD. The Overcommand West forces thereof, indeed. So another new player, so a very warm welcome to the channel to you too, good sir. The map today is going to be Arnhem Checkpoint, one of the maps introduced with the British forces. It's a pretty cool map, actually. I quite like this one. A lot of interesting combat opportunities provided by the interesting sort of village and fields, vineyards nearby. Couldn't see any players I recognised on the live games lobby this morning, so decided to take a punt, went for a couple of randoms here, Gloating Ghost and FK9DD. We'll see how this one pans out. Whilst everyone's just getting started on getting into the fight, just like to take a second here, discuss something else. I haven't actually had a lot of time to play Company of Heroes 2, not as much as usual recently. Which is why I haven't been uploading so many other videos, things like the 1v1 live look-ins and stuff like that, for which I must apologise and seek to make amends by playing some more games in the near future. I managed to play a couple last night and did reasonably. Yep, good games, but I wasn't recording them, and to be fair, they were probably just mediocre games from a watching perspective anyway. Fairly one-sided affairs. What can I say? I'm quite good. Ha 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 ha. No, just kidding. I'll try and bring you some more of these 1v1 live look-ins if I can at some point. If that's something you'd enjoy. I know I kind of enjoy commentating on them. Something a little bit different. So I'll try and get some more of those coming soon. I might also head over to CoH2.org and download some high-level replays, which I'm normally against doing because I like casting games that are happening now. You know, I like the suspense of knowing that the game is actually being played, albeit with a few minutes delay. Okay, but I just like the suspense of knowing that I'm actually spectating something that's real, something that's happening, something off the ladder. And I also kind of think it represents, you know, it gives you the best possible look at the metagame on the ladder. You know, regular people playing regular games, and I suppose the downside of this though is that some of the games that I do cast are not super stunning, some of them are a little one-sided, and some of them aren't the highest level of play. But you know what, that's fine too, because I think you can learn just as much there if you know what to look for. And that's something which I try to highlight for you guys at home. I try to find the moral of the battle, if you like. That's my game plan. Anyway, so let's turn our attention to the battle. The opening build here for the Overcommand player. Unusual, going for another squad of Storm Pioneers, fair enough, and 2 of Volks. And for the American player, 3 of Riflemen, so nothing out of the ordinary there. The chauffeur of a Mach Schlepper appears to have stayed back home, so look to see that established as a mechanized company, fingers crossed, or a battle group at HQ in the base, sad face. Looks like we've got a squad of Riflemen in this church. These Pioneers going to get into a good position, but these flanking Riflemen, wow, that's going to be an instantaneous fallback. Seems fair enough, actually. You do have to respect the price of your elite engineers when you play as the Overcommand West, and taking unnecessary fire on those units not only means that you have to pay the very expensive reinforce cost, but also means that your opponents are gaining a large amount of veterancy. Pretty much every hit is a noticeable spike of veterancy, and if you actually start gunning down models on these squads, then yeah, you can look to see your opponents leveling up pretty fast. Now, personally speaking, that's one of the reasons that I tend to stick with 1 squad of Storm Pioneers throughout most of the game. Map dependent, though. Map dependent. Anyway, the American forces have grabbed this point here, which is, of course, very important, a cut-off point there. So this fuel point, although in Axis hands, not providing any fuel income. And right now, the Allied forces off to a fantastic start, actually. A 15-point ticket lead is really nothing to write home about. But if you look at the resource income, it's +8 and +14 for our Overcommand player FK9DD, and +26 and +42, that's fuel and munitions respectively, for Gloating Ghost and the American forces. 2 squads of Riflemen here, that's 10 Garans going to be blazing into this building. Far too much for these Volksgrenadiers to withstand, especially with only 1 poor man who's firing out at them from that one window. Here comes a nice concave of Overcommand forces though. 2 of Volks on the left, got the Storm Pioneers flanking right. That's going to force these Riflemen to try and reposition. One of them gets gunned down as he moves across the negative cover, and the rest are coming across it, and that is going to be a fallback as the Storm Pioneers use the building to basically kind of advance more rapidly. They just pop into the building, pop out the building, and then they're suddenly in pretty nasty close range Of course, everybody knows how dangerous they are when they get to close range. Now, the tech of choice is the Mechanized Regiment HQ. This excites me a little bit. This probably means that FK9DD knows something about what he's on. He's gone for fuel conversion, so we'll look to see what the unit of choice that pops out of this building, if any, is. But for now, he's going to be using that to bolster his... that's right, it's giving him +2 fuel per minute. That's 1 extra fuel every 30 seconds. Impressive stuff. Although he is now capturing additional points, which will mean that that will come faster. Some mines being put down here. FK9DD, you're a sneaky little guy, huh? Utility car is on the field, which of course means a lieutenant was the choice of tech. Now this guy, I imagine, is going to be reinforced shortly. He's currently standing in the base idle. Yeah, a pretty robust opening, and I have to say most American players I see these days are going with the lieutenant. The captain is good, of course, but costs more, and the units that the captain brings to the field are more suited for the sort of mid and late game. You know, pack howitzers, tank guns, and the Stuart. Well, I suppose actually, no, the Stuart's nice early, but anyway, my point is, the lieutenant gives you a nice punch of anti-infantry firepower with the actual lieutenant squad, and then gives you access to a number of squads which are very good at this kind of stage in the game. The utility car, chief among them. Now, let's see. Okay, so I mean, I haven't really liked the look of any of the fights that the Overcommand player has taken so far. The one where he vaulted his storm pioneers through the building was reasonable. But here, I mean, what's the plan here? It's just going to try and trade the storm pioneers at this range? I mean, that's reasonable. These guys are actually only in light cover, not heavy cover. They want to just stand just somewhere slightly different so they actually get the advantage of that heavy cover. These Volks Grenadiers, I hope FK9DD is paying attention. Down to one man, taking a lot of fire. He is paying attention. Going to get them out of there. Storm pioneer is going to take its place in the building. Now, the armoured skirt upgrade has been purchased for the utility car. It's more or less mandatory. How much does it cost? 70 munitions, so that's quite a heavy cost, really. Anyway, and a Rakettenwerfer is coming out onto the field. That's almost certainly in response to this utility car. But things not looking good right now for FK9DD. He's behind in resources, he's behind in score, and for my money, he's also behind on unit composition. So that's tricky times. A Puma is the tech of choice. The good old, well, it used to be a 6-minute Puma, coming in at 7, or it'll probably be arriving at the front nearer the 8-minute mark. So that'll be a potent answer to this utility car. That should see that done. That is barring, of course, some tricksy crew micro up the American player. Of course, you can pop the crew out and pop a Zook into the Puma, and it's rather frustrating for the Overcommand player. Possibly a squad wipe, probably a squad wipe, in fact, going down on this Storm Pioneer. He's going to have to go across the negative cover here. Ooh, risky times. Is he going to get out of there? Looks like he's actually made it. Thankfully for FK9DD, that could have been an unfortunate loss of an expensive squad, but averted there. If you look at the stars of veterancy above the American forces, you can see that they've been killing a lot of stuff. Fewer stars over the Axis forces right now, though FK9DD is actually further ahead in the command points, so I'm not quite sure what that says. Here's the Puma making itself known, not set to prioritise vehicles because, of course, it has oh, wow, good mines there. Very good mines. I did not see FK9DD put those down, but those mines scored a fantastic hit on those riflemen, killing 3 on the retreat. And that was close to a squad wipe, so nice work there. The Puma here going to be drawing some fire. The flamethrower, I believe, ineffective against the Puma. Its armour is just about heavy enough to repulse rifle fire and a flamethrower for some time. Oh no, although that was careless. Allowing your Puma to get hit by a rifle grenade. Of course, as soon as you see any stars of veterancy over those American riflemen, you have to basically treat them as conscripts. Oh, fantastic squad wipe there. The mines are paying dividends, and you've got to think Gloating Ghost is going to be second-guessing his movement from now on. That's the second fantastic connection we've seen from the 30 munition investment. That's, of course, the mines from FK9DD. Now, I worry about this Puma. If the utility car comes in, pops out the crew, and gets the crew into this building, or even just behind this wall, that could be hazardous times. But the Puma's getting some great hits, or got one good hit on the utility car. Trying to angle for another, but here comes a captain with 2 Zooks, and this is the problem. This is 70 fuel that is going to die now. That's a real shame. I don't think there was any reason to lose this Puma. I mean, he sat it here for far too long, in my opinion. And is this captain actually going to get the kill? Come on, yeah, here we go. One more shot, one more shot, one more shot. He's not going to take it. Wow, and there comes the fallback. Possibly some sort of line of sight issue there. And there is indeed a Zook on the floor, so quite the reversal of fortunes there, as the Storm Pioneer is going to head on back to repair that Puma. And they'll repair it incredibly quickly, of course. Storm Pioneers have a good repair rate. One of them's got the repair tool upgrade, and there's 2 squads of them. So that Puma is going to be back on the fighting front incredibly quickly. And as I said, there's a Zook on the floor here. Now, I'm not sure if the American player's seen that, because I think if he had, one of these rifle squads would clearly have gone over to pick him up. And I wonder if the Axis player has as well. I mean, this is a pretty at 9 minutes. Well, coming up to the 10-minute mark, a Zook is, you know, you don't. I would not look a gift Zook in the mouth. That's an English saying. I gift horse in the mouth. Might be lost on a lot of viewers now I think about it. But anyway, excuse me while I have a sip of my jasmine tea here. So, a fight here at close quarters being taken, and FK9DD has not chosen a commander, but you've got to think this seems like a really good spot for, what's it called, Fortifications Doctrine, who gets the MG34, because I'm just thinking, you know, an MG34 in this building would have shut that fight down a long time ago. Oh, another grenade going to come down onto the Puma. The Puma, of course, is now nearly 1-star veterancy. And that's something to keep an eye on. A Puma is one of these units which, if you babysit it into the late game, it stands a really good chance of getting to 4- and 5-star veterancy. And once it gets to 2 and 3, 4, 5, I mean, it becomes so much a more potent unit. At 2-star, it gets a vastly increased rate of fire. At 3-star, the shells it fires are much more potent in regards to armor piercing. And oh no, another grenade going to come down here. He's so aggressive with this Puma, it's unreal. I mean, I would have been backing this up a long time ago. I mean, I really look after my Pumas. I keep them fighting at long range. Because, like, here comes the captain with the double Zoops, and now we're in this dangerous situation once again. A lucky miss there for the overcommand player, an unlucky miss, of course, for the American player. But you have to admit, you have to think though, the problem about all this is he's been fighting the good fight. He really has, his FK9DD. But to some extent, it's kind of all been for naught, because the only real point he's been fighting over is this one, which means the majority of the resources and indeed the scoreline not going his way. So although he's been kind of getting the better side of the engagements for the last few minutes, he's kind of been losing in the grand scheme of things. So for my money, what he needs to do is, I don't know, send like flank. I would send 1 Volk squad each flank, because probably one of those will be able to chew in some ground and maybe grab you a victory point. I would keep 1 squad of Storm Pioneers with the Puma, and I would have that in mid, but respond to armor wherever it appeared. I'd put the other Storm Pioneer squad probably over here on the left flank with one of the Volk squads that was capping, just team those 2 up. And the Rakettenwerfer, I'd probably look to garrison that somewhere in mid and respond to armor as I saw it. That would be my distribution of forces, but it appears that FK9DD sledgehammering right now. Of course, if you went with my plan, so the Volks Grenadier on each flank, extra Storm Pioneer squad on the left, Storm Pioneer and Puma in mid ready to respond, with Rakettenwerfer garrison mid ready to respond. If you do go with that plan, it doesn't matter if your opponent has too many forces for you to take in the middle, because you'll be making ground in the other areas of the map. So, you know, you don't have to be winning in mid, if that makes sense. Anyway, here comes the Stuart. Oh no, he gets too close, far too close. That's going to enable the Stuart to use its crazy anti-vehicle rounds. The captain is going to get all up in this Puma's grill with the Zoops. And actually, you know what? These Storm Pioneers are blazing through the captain squad. There needs to come a fallback here from the American player. No fallback is forthcoming. He's probably going to lose the captain, and he is. There's a mass fallback. He loses the Stuart and the captain, and that was quite the pickup for FK9DD. Still finds himself behind on score, still finds himself under the clock, still finds himself vastly far behind on resources. He's been like surviving on like ridiculously slim income this entire game, but able to make quite a dent there in the Allied forces. Uh-oh, the Puma's going to come back in real fast. We're going to get a lovely shot into that utility car there. Has to play it scarcely now. Up to 2-star veterancy now, though, and this is when a Puma starts getting pretty cool. Improved accuracy and rate of fire at 2-star means that its DPS almost doubles at the 2-star veterancy. And then at 3-star, you get increased mobility and weapon potency. And when you combine the weapon potency with the accuracy and rate of fire of the 2-star veterancy, the DPS on that Puma against armor starts getting kind of crazy. We might as well look at the 4- and 5-star upgrades just so you can see what I'm on about. So, when you get to Veterancy Rank 4, you get extended range, which basically turns the Puma into some sort of anti-tank sniper god. And at Veterancy 5, it can see through line of sight blockers, which is useful but not broken. Seems like there's a break in the fighting here, which will enable me to have a sip on my tea.
Task complete. Support gun deployed. Crew ready for orders.
So, a brace of light guns coming up, and I like this choice as well. FK9DD seems to me, so far, showing all the signs, has all the trappings of a seasoned overcommand player. The only thing I would say is that he's focusing rather hard on the centre at the expense of the victory points and resources, which may see him into a pretty awkward mid and late game. But he is using his units correctly, he is using them well, and we'll have to see what his plan is for the mid and late game. I mean, he must know that he's falling vastly behind. I mean, it's no great secret, as long as he can see his screen. But yeah, when I do use light guns, I always buy 2. 1 light gun just is not consistent enough, doesn't ever really do enough damage. But 2 light guns is a genuine obstacle and represents a significant threat. So I applaud the choice of the double light gun here from FK9DD. This Puma still just angling for damage. Wow. Once it gets to 2-star veterancy as well, the machine gun on it also becomes rather more potent against infantry. Oh, another Zook dropped here. You know what, I never saw who grabbed this Zook in the middle, but there is another Zook here. Just grab it on your Storm Pioneers, mate. It doesn't even matter, just grab it. Oh, I don't know why he didn't grab that Zook. Anyway, here comes a utility car. Oh, the Puma is more than happy to give that one a cheeky blast. Oh, and another! That is 2 hits now. He's going to get the utility car, and that was a mistake from Gloating Ghost. Oh, though, there is a pack howitzer back here, doing good work in a decent position, possibly a little exposed. If these Storm Pioneers are able to get through, that will have to move. Anyway, so the Puma's going to get back, that's going to look to repair. Some Volks Grenadiers going to come forward and grab the Zook as long as they don't get... Oh, frustrating! They've been pinned and they will get flamed and they will not be grabbing this Zook. They were meters away! Meters away, I tell you! But it is the Riflemen who are going to inherit the Zook and not the Volks. And this is what I mean, like when there's a weapon on the floor and it's in a dubious location like that, which is pretty much equidistant between forces from both players, you really just have to grab it. If it's something you want or if it's something you don't want your opponent to have, you just have to grab it when you can. Waiting too long and being punished for it there is FK9DD. You know, he made a decision and, you know, possibly he was unlucky to have lost out based on it, but, you know, that was always a possibility, and I'm sure he respected that, to be fair. Anyway, double light guns getting set up in a reasonable position. They're going to be facing mid right now, kind of back here. I would kind of rather... Oh dear, no, I thought this was light cover. I was going to say, I would kind of rather they just crept forward into light cover, but no such option. This 2-star Puma still doing good work, actually, nearly up to 3-star now. This is getting to be a Jaeger Puma. These are the kind of Pumas that I use. So it's looking real good. I bet he's going to lose it really ignominiously soon, actually. We'll see. Barbed wire here, and it really kind of... That's a pretty good position, but I'm not sure who it's good for. It's blocking the American movement really badly. Anyway. Let's see what we've got going on. There are some Volks Grenadiers being pinned down. They were trying to capture this point, but of course, units that are fully pinned do not capture, and so that pack howitzer, of course the pack howitzer and the light gun for some strange reason are still able to instantly pin a squad with a hit, despite the nerf to their suppression, which is of course patently ridiculous. You know what, this Puma, if he just moved it onto the point and repaired it with the Storm Pioneers, I'd feel a lot better about it, because of course the difference between being at full health and being at slightly less than full health when it comes to being hit by anti-tank grenades, considerable. So although for the Puma it may make no difference actually, it may get an engine broken either way because it's such a light vehicle. Not sure on that one. Either way, the light guns now are going to start doing some work. Now let's see, they've repositioned to the right just a little, and they are now hooning rounds into this sort of concentration of American forces. So look to see some good hits. They're at very close range, but I believe the minimum range of the light gun would be about here, so not too bad. And there's a lot of suppression going down here. However, as soon as these Volks fall back, and they may have to sooner rather than later, problems will arise. This Puma, I would like it a lot if he would just reverse move it to here, because then it would be firing in from here with its frontal armor facing where a likely anti-tank threat can come from. So there's that. The 2 light guns, I believe they're trying to acquire... No, they're not trying to acquire the pack howitzer. We're not having an artillery war just yet. American riflemen getting forced back really across the front, actually. And this babysitting the... Oh, it's a good shell! Yeah, that is a good shell. This sort of tactic of babysitting the Puma, which is actually reminiscent of the earliest days when Overcommand first came out. Everyone was just like, oh my god, you can get a Puma on the field in 6 minutes if you build the Mechanized Regiment and then use fuel conversion. And that was just like, everybody did that every game forever, like, well, for the first few months anyway. It was just Pumas all day, every day. What is this? Oh, of course, that's the EZ-8. I was going to say, that looks like a Sherman, but with a bigger gun. Of course, it is the EZ-8. That's going to... Oh, wow, the Puma has to be super careful. Puma, what the hell? Oh, dearie me. He's going to break the traverse on the turret, which is kind of nice, but oh my goodness, he's going to come forwards. He's using this. This is a Jaeger Puma. Jaeger Puma mode has been engaged. He's going to try and hound down the EZ-8 if he can get behind it. Oh my goodness, this is looking really good. And this is why you don't mess with Pumas. I'm sorry. Get it out! Get it out! You smoke, buddy. The EZ-8 doesn't take prisoners, bro. Whew. As soon as that gun has you in its sights, you've got to run. Anyway, gets the Puma up to 4 stars. That's pretty cool. Yes, I was about to say, you know what? I think getting a second Puma is in order. He's well ahead of me, and that Puma is just now finishing and coming onto the field. So that's pretty spicy stuff. We're gonna see the old Doppel Puma in action, and I am gonna pour myself another cup of tea. Da, 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 da. Go. So, another American offensive coming up here in the middle. We've got the lieutenant, 2 squads of riflemen, and behind that we've got a whole load of other forces ready to come forward sooner rather than later. The CZ8 is going to get repaired. That's going to be out of action for a while. The 0-star Puma is here. I'm not sure about repairing this with the Puma's rear arm facing the enemy, because for a start, this means that the turret has to take aim to traverse, which means that these light guns are in danger for longer, which possibly could have led to the death. Oh my god, they're just dragging the dead man with them. Some kind of act of heroics going on there. You know what, actually, that reminds me. You know how in this game, sometimes when people like get hit or destroyed, they don't actually die, like the infantry model crawls around as a casualty on the floor for a while, which kind of provides line of sight. It would be really cool if there was like some kind of medic ability which let you harvest your own ones of those and like restore some manpower back to you or something. That would be a really cool like doctrinal thing that you could do. Anyway, 4-star Puma is going to find the pack howitzer, but he has to be careful with this. Here we go, because the EZ8 is ready to rock and roll, and that is what he's going to want to do. And oh dear, yeah, he's going to kite back. Ah, there we go, the double kite back. That is. I don't understand why more players don't have. It's not hard to do this. I don't understand why more players don't have this level of vehicle micro, because you basically never see it. But yeah, FK9DD putting on a great show here. Now here comes the Sherman EZ8. Here's the real test. He's slow on the kite back. He's going to use an aim shot before smoke. Turbo risk. Oh my god, he's just going to put his shot. Why is this thing? Oh, of course the turret traverse is broken. Oh, but there's an M1 AT gun at the back there, and that is going to have to get this thing out of there. Yeah, you don't want to get an AT grenade in. And I don't know, playing it a little recklessly, I have to say. That was close to the wire. I always like to lock out the possibility of, oh dear, he's going to forget about the other Puma. Yeah. Oh, an unlucky miss for the American player. That should have been a dead Puma. That really should have been a dead Puma. But as I was saying, I like to lock out the possibility. I like to do everything in my power to prevent the possibility of one of my vehicles being destroyed. And FK9DD just plays it 1 degree more dangerous, where he's happy going down to a level where another hit would destroy his Puma, and even exposing his Pumas to that hit, but where the rewards are, in his opinion, justified. And so far, he's making that look like a smart decision, because he hasn't lost either of his Pumas. And he's managed to get some extra damage in because of it. But, you know, I mean, it's a trade-off, and when you decide to play this way, you know, some of the time you're going to lose those Pumas, and, you know, it may not be the best decision. So, I always, by default, set my vehicle behaviour, my vehicle micro, if you like, to most cautious for maximum longevity of vehicles, because, in my opinion, that's the way to get the most efficiency out of them, and of course, stacking veterancy works with that as well. Massive fight being taken here in mid. Of course, the Overcommand player has managed to secure this right-hand victory point, which means it's the American forces right now on top of not the Axis forces. But the scoreline's still very heavily American favoured right now. The Allied forces find themselves at 478 over 188 of FK9DD. So FK9's going to have to look after the victory points as this game goes forward. Oh, Puma comes forward for a cheeky hit and gets it. Very nice. The 4-star Puma, look at the range, look at the rate of fire, look at the potency of these hits, and this is why the Puma must be respected. And this is why, against America in particular, I'm a big fan of Puma. He needs to get that Puma back though, this anti-tank gun. The EZ8 is going to come in for a dive. He knows the main gun is down, and the engine is also broken, so that is a Puma in jeopardy, big time. Where's the other Puma? Because, a Rakettenwerfer might be the saviour here. No. And that is a dead Puma. Here comes the other Puma, though, for the vengeance. And trading a Puma, even if it is a 5-star one, for an EZ8 is still pretty tasty. Come on, he's got to get it, though. And there's the kill. So, some good work there. Good work there from FK9DD. Shame he lost the Puma, but I guess he felt like he was compelled to commit that. Now, he has established his Schwerpanzer HQ. Here is the flat gun HQ. Actually, you know what? For a building that's allegedly an HQ and lets you call in a load of heavy units, not a lot of logistics here. They've got some boxes of ammo and a radio, but basically this is a gun emplacement, not an HQ. Oh, I take it back. They've got a spotting scope. Anyway, sorry about that. I did miss some action, during which a squad of Axis infantry was lost. This I can tell from the announcer. So, yeah, the Puma getting repaired pretty quickly. 90 fuel right now for FK9DD, he's just never held a connected fuel point this entire game, I don't think. And another Easy 8 now coming in. Bringing the Easy 8 count up to 1, because the other one's lost. Yep, that's now been replaced. Now this Puma is still not been repaired. Its main gun is still busted. As you can see here, it's actually kind of on fire. Touch awkward for the gun, for sure. It's got a rather warm face right now. These light guns doing what they can. I think this light gun's been forgotten about. It certainly seems to have been. And here comes a squad of riflemen with 2 BARs, who will be more than happy to take advantage of this situation. Meanwhile, this rocket has just been camouflaged and doing work. It's so funny. Well, I say doing work, but it's just been camouflaged and not being targeted down, which is amusing from the Axis side of things. Now, the American forces are now taking back the right-hand victory point. They've managed to resecure mid, so things are looking a little bit dire now for FK9DD, who you kind of feel has put up a great fight, but that's not enough. You need to focus on what you need to do to win, and just taking great engagements and training well in Company of Heroes 2, not enough. It's about winning the war, and to do so, you need to look after the victory points. And oh dear, this Puma's been caught short. I think it's probably a dead Puma. Should die in one more hit, I would have thought. And it's jammed the turret rotate on this Sherman, which is frustrating. And that's not going to last long. And there's the next hit. Oh my goodness, the Puma managed to survive with very little health. The Sherman's going to get out. But yeah, I wouldn't advise this kind of a strategy against, like, I don't know, Soviets or British forces, because the Puma will get swatted down. But against American forces, I have found that you can actually just rely on Pumas if you want to. It is risky. It is risky, and if they go for a Jackson, then things get pretty intense. But it's still doable, even if they go for a Jackson. And in fact, if you scroll back on the channel, there's a game of me on Stalingrad where I use a Puma against, like, I don't know, 3-4 Shermans and managed to get it to like 5-star, I think, and destroy all of the Shermans, something like that. Oops, spoilers. But you know, so yeah, go back and have a look at good old Magpie playing on Stalingrad as the map, and Jaeger Puma is the unit that was used. My opponent in that game, as I recall, went for like some kind of crazy build, but we'll go over that later. Because right now we've got a massive advance of American infantry. The Flamer upgrades really doing what they're supposed to there, and massive losses for the Axis forces. 2 squads of Volks forced back instantaneously. Now these Storm Pioneers, they've got some DPS, and they're going to focus down this 3-star squad, but they're getting roasted and toasted. A lot of stars of veterancy actually on the Storm Pioneers, and their DPS gets pretty fierce once they get 2-star is a massive upgrade to their DPS, and anything above 2-star pretty much adds a lot more to their DPS, except I think for 3-star. Yeah, no, 3-star doesn't give them any more DPS, but 4 and 5-star are worthwhile in a fight. 3-star is like a repair like buff, so they don't die whilst repairing. And it also gives them concussion grenades, which I suppose is an indirect DPS buff. Oh, they need to fall back though. 4-star squad is in jeopardy there. 2-man squad here. Oh my god, it's just trading forever. Oh wow, and the Easy 8 says no. That is a squad loss there. Now we've got 2 squads of Obersoldaten coming out. Now I kind of feel like he built 1 squad, forgot about it, then built another squad, then came back and picked up 2 of them, because they're coming in at the same time. Neither of them have got the LMG, so it seems to me, oh no, the Puma's going to go down. That is a shame, and things are really coming undone now for FK9DD. He's having a real hard time in the face of this American composition here. It's just a nasty lineup of 3-star rifleman squads with good tank support. What the? I have no idea how that Sherman was taken out. Did it hit a mine or something? I just saw it lose a load of health like over here, and then the Raketwerfer got the finishing blow. Was it a Lig hit? Surely not. Where is the other Lig? No, it couldn't have been a Lig hit, because the Lig is out of arc, so it must have all been the Raketwerfer, I guess, or some mines, but wow. Anyway, speaking of WoW, Obersoldaten going to get the job done, and they'd love to have enough time to put down a booby trap on this point, but FK9, he does have the munitions, but he doesn't have the time, because this is the amount of American forces bearing down on him. On the left flank, though, the victory point has been taken, so FK9DD out from under the clock. Here comes a Panzer IV from the Schwerer Panzer HQ. Now, this is what I can only describe as a lackluster choice. In the face of Easy 8s, a Panzer IV is liable to get bullied by the superior Sherman. However, this is one of the few times I think going for a Panzer IV over saving up for a Panther is totally justified. The reason being, he may not have enough time to save up for a Panther, and for that Panther to then enter the field and have an effect. So I think this is one of those times when you just have to suck it up and go for a Panther 4. Pretty much never a good thing for an overcommand player, but I suppose at least the option is there. Now let's see, did he have the munitions? Yes, he does have the munitions for the pincer-mounted MG42 upgrade. That's going to be a great asset to the medium tank. And the Force is just in fantastic building here. Look at this with the VARs and the 3-star veteran riflemen just don't die for anything. M1 anti-tank gun here in a great position. That's going to screen out the Panzer. In fact, that's going to get the Panzer down to less than half health. The HVAP rounds there being triggered by Gloating Ghost with good timing there. The American Major is located here, so he's the forward fallback point. There's also the customary ambulance in attendance there. And wow, if you look at the victory points, yeah, I was going to say, if you look at the victory points, things looking pretty grim for FK9DD, and he's going to choose this moment to GG out of the game, and you have to sympathise. That was a hard-fought battle, definitely a hard-fought battle, and I think he acquitted himself well, but was not able to dominate the field and hold as much ground as was needed to deliver a victory. And that's reflected in the scoreline and the fact that he was so resource-starved the entire game. I mean, let's not forget, he basically had fuel conversion on that entire game, and he was able to build 2 Pumas and a Panzer IV in the face of, like, I don't know, 3 Easy-8s, a utility car, an ambulance. You know, it's difficult times sometimes as overcommand, but I find basically when this happens, you have to go wide. You know, you have to just constantly disperse squads around the map and try and break through their lines. Don't try and play a fair fight, because the Allied forces with their 3-star infantry and 5-man squads will usually take the upper hand in any straight up fight, unless you've got something cunning like machine guns or something like that set up. But no option for that, of course, for FK9DD in this game. And in fact, you know what? He didn't even choose a commander that entire game, and I sort of agree with him. I don't think any of these commanders would really have provided him any benefit as the game went on, which is a shame, because I was kind of hoping he'd choose the Feuersturm doctrine so that we could see it for the first time on channel, which still has not happened. Not the best doctrine, that. So anyway, yes, that concludes this battle. Thank you very much for watching. And this will be Magpie 842 signing out very shortly. But just like, I don't know, a little sneak teaser, I'm going to be, I don't know, there's going to be an announcement coming up. I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. It's coming up. I've had some ideas. I've been thinking about stuff to do. And yeah, come up with something. So still putting it together, still you know, building it behind the scenes. But when it's ready, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, so for now, this is Magpie 842 signing out.